Hi everyone and welcome to NCC Spotlight. I'm your host Matt Racine, and today on our program we have Courtney Anstedt, who is the founder of the NCC Food Pantry. Thank you so much for joining us today, Courtney. How are you?
Great, thanks for having me.
It's great to have you. So Courtney, the pantry is located here on the East Campus with another sub-location on the West Campus. What are some of the services the pantry offers, and what can a student expect when they first visit?
Okay. So the pantry is open to all enrolled students, and it's on the second floor of the East Campus. When students come in, they can expect to be welcomed by one of my student workers. When you walk in, it's a very open, bright area, so you can grab a basket if you want, and you could get several different types of services. So the first service that you could get is a grab and go. So we have items that are more like snack items. So we have apples, yogurts, fruit cups, granola bars, oatmeal. And so if someone wants to come in, they might be a little hungry, they might need a snack before going or after going to class, they could come in and they could grab 2 items per day of those every day. We have feminine care products, and those are unlimited, no questions asked, just take what you need. And then our third service is our grocery items. So once a week, students can come in, and it does not affect the grab and go items. You could still come in every day and grab the grab and go, and then they also have the grocery items. So these are our non-perishable food items like our cereal, our pasta sauce, as well as dairy. So usually we have milk, eggs, butter, cheese. We have protein, so we have meat and non-meat plant-based options. And we also have our produce, so we have different types of produce like onions. Sometimes we have beets, squash, potatoes, and things like that for students to take home to their families or to their, from themselves every single week.
And that's once a week?
Once a week.
How many items can you get for the grocery?
You get a total of 12. So there's
12, okay.
Different types of amounts for different categories. But yes, you could take up to 12 items, and it really does add up. If you come into the pantry and you use it, then you can really build up your pantry at home.
Yeah. And then 2 for the snack items per
2
per
grab
day.
and go per day.
Okay,
Yep.
wow. So what I've been wondering is how the pantry originally came about.
Okay, so for many years, I've been here for almost 16 years, we've always talked about having a food pantry. Wouldn't it be like really, really wonderful to have a food pantry on campus? And I talked a lot to my colleagues about it in like meetings or in passing. And in 2015, we did have an AmeriCorps volunteer, which is AmeriCorps volunteer is like a domesticated Peace Corps. So they do a year of service. So she did a year of service here on campus, and she was able to really look at the logistics of what it means to have a food pantry. And in Connecticut, besides one community college that actually had like a food pantry, like a closet, we were the first community college in Connecticut that had a real food pantry location.
Wow.
And since then, we've visited almost all the other community colleges in the system to kind of show them what we do, and they've kind of emulated us based on our model, which is really, really cool. So they've come to us, we've gone to them, and it's really kind of awesome that it's kind of like spread over the state based on our model. But so we've talked about it, that Vista came in, she was able to talk to our administration, talk to our maintenance people, find a location, find kind of like our processes. How are we going to give the food? How are we going to get the food? All of these questions and how it's going to actually work, and we were able to open it. So even though you gracefully said I founded it, I really was a co-founder with a group of people who really did dedicate our time. And we were very, very fortunate at the time. Our administration then and our administration now really, really supports this initiative. And so we're very, very fortunate to have their support.
That's great to hear. With the thousands of students using this really great resource each week, the pantry must be subject to supply and demand issues. With that being said, what are some of the best times of the week, as well as best times of the day for a student in need to visit the pantry?
Okay, so on our website, I always keep the hours updated. So if students want to know when the best time to come, or just our general hours, they can go to our website. Under our resource tab on our website, under food pantry, we'll have the hours and it will be updated. But typically we're open around 10 a.m. to about 5 or 6 p.m. So with some of the supply challenges, like you said, we put out food as much as we can throughout the day, but we have over 100 students coming in, and that's a pretty generous estimate. So as fast as we put food on the shelves, students are taking it out. So if they want to come, students, I would say daytime is best, but we kind of have a strategic plan about stocking the shelves. So if students come at 10, they have the same options as if they come at 4. Something like that.
Oh, they
so
do?
we
Okay.
try to keep it as much as possible.
Oh, nice.
But by Thursday we might have run out of meat. Our supply delivery comes on Friday for meat, so on Thursday they might see less options.
Yeah.
But when we get our delivery on Friday, coming on a Monday is a really great time to get the most selection.
Most selection on Mondays, maybe.
Mondays,
Possibly.
early Mondays, Tuesdays. But we order it a week in advance. We use a wonderful organization, a company called Hudson Harvest, which is a collective of farms, and so our food that's coming in is like organic. It's
You mentioned grass-fed.
Grass-fed. It is sustainable, and it's delivered to us, which is really, really great.
Yeah.
So it comes on Fridays. So sometimes we have a really great selection on Monday, and we might be a little bit less on Thursday. But then we're going to get another donation on Friday. So not donation, another shipment on Friday. So it's kind of like finding that sweet spot.
Yeah, and you also mentioned you partner with Pepperidge Farms.
So
do
Pepperidge Farms
donations here.
gives a lot of donations monthly.
Mm-hmm.
We're going and we're getting boxes, like a car full of boxes,
Wow.
like not just a box of goldfish. It's a lot of stuff, and it can be we had bread this time, we have snacky foods, sometimes cookies, and so some sweets, but they're very generous, and they've been donating to us for years.
Oh, that's great
So
to hear.
it's really nice, and they're local, so it's kind of
right in Norwalk.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. So it's really great.
Recently, NCC Spotlight got the opportunity to take an exclusive tour of the pantry. So for our viewers, let's take a look at what you can expect to see on your visit. Located on the East Campus, with a sub-location on NCC's West Campus, the pantry offers an array of foods, including meats, fruits, and vegetables, as well as essential items. The pantry and all its services are available to all attending NCC students and is open Monday through Friday for all your needs. The Pantry website provides an array of services to students, including helpful guides and resources, weekly recipes, and hours of operation. To learn more, visit norwalk.edu/thepantry, or you can contact Courtney Anstedt anytime. Courtney, I have to say, it was amazing to see all the different varieties of goods and essentials offered during our tour we took. What really stuck out to me was the organic and health food offerings you guys have. It's great to see the quality items that benefit the health of students attending here at NCC. Was this an important decision to include foods that are tailored to certain needs and diets?
Yeah, so we actually do have a shelf that is for dietary restrictions, which is exciting and new to the pantry. So we have things that are gluten-free or nut-free. We even have baby food, and once in a while we get donated pet food. So we do have a lot of variety there, but it really has to do with how the pantry has grown over time. When we started back in 2015, we were just purely donation-based. So what we got, what we were lucky enough to, have in our basket was what was on the shelf. And sometimes that was very random, and sometimes that was very sparse. We would do pleas to the community and to the college and say, please bring in food for us. But since the pandemic, it really shifted. It really brought to light a lot of this the topic of food insecurity, not only on campuses, but in the community. And so since the pandemic, we have been so fortunate to have actual funding to fund the pantry. And some of the funding comes from different resources, but a lot of it comes from our NCC Foundation, who is so generous with us. So we're able to kind of be a little bit more strategic about the things that we have on the shelf. So we want to be really like mindful of like things that make sense. What are students really using? If we buy something or if we have something on the shelf that sits there for a really long time, that's not something that we're going to use our resources on in the future. So we're going to be just kind of keep a mental note of like, that sat there for a really long time. We're not going to buy that again, as opposed to something like oil that I cannot keep on the shelf.
Yeah, I noticed during your tour,
so I put an oil out,
yeah,
it is gone. So students really do also, what I've learned over this time is that a can of soup is really great, and no one is, it's just as great to have that one meal. But what I find that students want is they want to have stuff to bring home. They like spices, they like the oil, they like the rice, the beans, the meat, the vegetables, so they could go home and cook a healthy meal for themselves and their families. Having those options there is really important to me. So we do have the cans of soup, so if someone wants to grab a can of soup because it's convenient and easy, that's, hey, great. But also I want to have the options so people can, look at a recipe and come in and grab those type of items that they need. Anyway, that food also stretches longer. A can of soup is one meal, where you can have, multiple meals and feed multiple people with other types of things, like a bag of rice, beans, oil, onions. You could make something really great.
Yeah, and the recipes on the website, that's a great touch.
Yes, so we try to think, at one time we were saying, like, what do we have a lot of the items and what recipes kind of match, but right now the food goes so quickly, we haven't been able to match recipes, so we have some general ones on the website for people to use if they want to.
Wow. The whole operation of the pantry seems like a huge daily undertaking. How many staff members work and volunteer?
Yes, so I have a number of volunteers. So on the west side, I have about 3 volunteers over there. So on the east side is our main pantry. On the west side, we have the grab and go, like I said, which is 2 items per day. We have the feminine care, and we also have a professional clothing closet over there. So our services are a little tiny bit different over there. So I have 3 volunteers that work over there on a regular basis. On this side, I have numerous volunteers, and a lot of them just come in, they'll pop in, they'll volunteer for an hour, which is really great, or in between classes. And then I have 4 staff, student workers.
Oh, that's
that
great.
Come in, and those students are the ones that keep those hours open.
Yeah.
So their schedules are based on that.
So if you want to volunteer, really, after contacting you and getting in touch, you can really come in any time, even if it's between classes.
I'm super flexible.
Wow.
I'm super flexible. So I love volunteers. We'll set up a time where I could show you around, or I could have one of my students show you around as a volunteer, and to show you the ropes. And then it could be something very like structured if a volunteer wants to come in and say like, hey, Tuesday at 10 o'clock, I'm going to volunteer for an hour every Tuesday. That's great. But then also like, hey, I have this extra hour in between classes and I'm going to pop in and volunteer. I'm okay with that too.
Yeah.
I'm like grateful for everything.
Yeah.
So
very flexible. Though,
flexible. Anything you guys want to do, I'm okay with it.
It's great.
Yep.
In all your experience, both founding and overseeing the pantry, what's been the most rewarding aspect for you out of all of it?
Just seeing the pantry grow is really, really rewarding. There are challenges. Keeping enough stuff on the shelves for students, making sure students who are in need are getting the items that they need. There are challenges, but it's super rewarding. It's super rewarding to see my student workers grow as students, as workers, as they learn skills, they get more confidence. Seeing the administration really support this initiative is super rewarding. And then just knowing that people know about the pantry. I still will go into a class and say, like, who knows that we have a pantry? And there are some people, but generally everyone knows that have a pantry, which is like super cool to me, that at least they know. They might not use it, but they know that it's there if they do.
Yeah, and it must be rewarding to know, like, since 2015, you've helped tens of thousands of people with it, which is
so many
that's-
people. But
that's really
this
great.
year, we're blowing the numbers out of the water.
Yeah, yep.
There are so many students coming in every single day. So that shows that there's a real need, and I'm really thrilled that we can meet that need.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge.
Before we go, is there any message or information you'd like to let our viewers know about the pantry?
Yeah, so like I said, our website is always updated with the hours. So you could go to our resource page on our website, and under that is the pantry. And my email is on there. So if anyone wants to volunteer, if they want to donate, or if they want any kind of information about the food pantry, they can email me. I am very mobile. I'm all over the place on campus. So the best way to get in touch with me is through email, and I always have a laptop with me so I could get back to them much quicker. Also, I would love feedback from students. So if they're going to the pantry and they're finding that it's not meeting their needs, I want to know. I want to know. I don't take it personally. I want to know what I can do to make it better for them. And sometimes it is, we've done FaceTime shopping with a student
Wow.
that doesn't want to come into the building or can't come into the building because they're compromised. So we walk around, FaceTime, we shop for them, and then they drive by our front door, and we've put the bag in their car. So I'm super flexible. I'm super willing to work with students if what we have doesn't meet their need or they have additional needs.
That's great.
Yeah, it's super
great.
fun. Yeah.
As always, guys, you can make a visit to the pantry Monday through Friday, with its East Campus location opening at 10 a.m. daily. Courtney, thank you so much
you.
for being on our program today.
Appreciate it.
It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
That's our program for tonight, guys. Until next time on NCC Spotlight, I'm your host, Matt Racine. Good night, everyone.